G'day everyone, and today we're going to check out the micro losi T, and this is shocker problems. I'm Steve and welcome to Mad's RC World. Alrighty, so what you're going to find is when you drive around the track for a period of time, you're going to push up on your shock. It won't fall down properly and it will sort of stick there and then go down, and could happen to the front, stick there and then go down. You could do it on all four, maybe 3, 2, and so what I'm going to do is do a couple of laps around the track and show you what happens, and then we'll go from there, and then we'll check out what does it, and also we're going to learn how to bleed these shockers in an easy manner, but it takes a bit of time to get there. Alright, I'm going to do a practice session. We'll start that.
.869. Race best lap of micro losi T 7.076 seconds. 8.211. Race best lap of micro losi T 6.918 seconds. Race best lap of micro losi T 6.112 seconds. 6.333. 6.286. 5.899. 6.361. 9.173. 8.289.
See, it goes slow, now it goes fast. So it goes slow, slow, now it goes fast. Right, so we got the shockers to stick. Rightio. Right, so we've got some air in there, you can hear that squelch. Back, there's no air. So you'll sometimes pick your losi up and you'll first push on that shocker and it feels extremely tight and hard. That's from sitting overnight. You can do a few laps on the track, and we saw that front shocker, or that front wheel arm, moving slow. Now it's moving quick. The same thing happened to the back. I think you can emulate it by just doing that. I can't get it to do it yet. Alright, we'll get the shockers off. We'll switch her off. And that's off. Whoops. Rightio. Okay, with your lossy shockers and the micro type, that side is bigger in diameter and that side's smaller, so that's the way it clips on. Get these springs off. Now, what creates it to stick is the seals are very tight here where the bottom cap is. Right, you can undo it. See how it moves a lot freer? You do it up. See the speed difference. Right. It's a heavier shock, so if you crack it slightly, see it returns out more, hasn't got the load on it. If we go a bit more, see it nearly comes all the way out. Alright, push it back in, see that? Alright, so what you got to do is undo these, but if you undo them too much you get too much oil past here. Just want to find a comfortable amount, because what happens is it gets too tight in there, gets dry of oil on the shaft and it makes it squeaky clean, and then it sticks on the shaft, and that's why that wheel, or that front arm on this side, got stuck and wouldn't move down quick enough. Okay. Look at that, they just want to run away. Okay, unclip the back ones. Get them out. Put him over there out of the way. I get the springs off. Right, now I need a lid on that, so when we knock it over they don't fall out. I'm not down on the floor looking everywhere for him. So he moves not too bad. He's not too bad. Alrighty, so we get the paper towel out. Alrighty, so one of the hard things about changing the oil in these shockers and bleeding them is getting the air out, because these plastic threads sometimes work like a seal, and when you screw it down, right, and then you want to push it up, see that? It's still pushing the shock back down. So you got to get the air back out, keep the shaft up, but you can't, because the air gets stuck. Well, these plastic threads seal too well.
Practice finish. Drivers must be ready to start.
There you go. Okay, that one, the bladder is on the top. Bladder's on the top. Bladder's on the top. Okay, so one of these shocks caps has got the bladder in there. Okay, she's out. Now I don't want them anymore. I'm going to get rid of them. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make some bleed screws. Now we got a tapered Phillips head screw there, or a countersink type. So the diameter is 1.2, and how long they are is 3.5. The next thing is we've got these O-rings here. So the outside diameter is 7 and they're 0.5 thick. So we need 4 of them. You can get these from AliExpress. Rightio, so where these will go, right, so they'll sit on there, and we screw the shock cap down, and we screw the shock cap down, it'll seat on there and seal off. And for some reason it doesn't squash them out the side, so I'm quite happy to use them. Rightio, so we've got our O-rings on there. Next up, we've got to drill these out to get the screw. So what my plan is I'm going to aim, if you look, so you got that cup in the side of the shock cap. What I'm going to plan to do is drill from here, from this end, through to the centre of the shock cap as best I can. And what you got to do is you got to set them up so, okay, that goes that way on. There's the big side, there's the small side, so that clips on that way, and the same with that one, and the same with that one. this micro drill set. They're super fine and small. Now, there, the diameter of that thread is 1.2. So I need to change this. It would have been nice if they fitted in there, but they don't. The Arrow-Max drill seems to only cater Arrow-Max drill. They're nice drills holding there by a magnet. There we go. That's the one we want. We want 0.8. Rightio. These drills are a little bit blunt when you get them. So I'm going to use one of these to mark the hole. He might be a bit big. I think he's 0.9. Rightio. Now for my next bit, I've got to put an extra pair of glasses on so I can see, because I'm getting old. I had to use a set of these with that there to put a countersink in the plastic. You could use that to drill all the way through. It's a rather sharp drill, so it can cut this way easily, so that's why I rather use a normal drill. Right, so the next bit is, you can see the countersink in here. The object is to drill, to try and aim for that dimple in there, because if you get the screw on the high side of there, the shock piston may hit it. You see in that, we've got it, and we're through. This other one, and we're going to aim for the middle. Try and just get the best view for the camera. And we're through. And look at that. And that's done. Again, we're done in that one. It's all about getting this countersink hole done so the drill doesn't slip off when you're not fighting anything. And you're not going to drill into your finger because the angle you're going at, and you can feel when it goes through. See? And we're through. Here's one thing with Aeromax. Turn it off, it goes in reverse. Something different. Right. So next is need to clean out the swaft in there. The burr from the drill that's gone in. So we can grab another drill. Just run him around in it. And he's done. You see the burr in there? Get the drill in it. Take the burr out. Still got a bit of oil in that one. He's done. He's done. So what we do is we take the drill again, switch him on, and just go through again. Just to poke any of the plastic back through so we can get burrs sticking up again. Right, drill off. Now we need some screws. Right, so these screws are available from AliExpress. All you got to remember is the measurements is 1.2 mil is the thread, and the thread length is 3.5. Now, the reason why we use a countersink is even because I've got a tight thread on here when it goes in, that'll seal, but the countersink will bury in there and seal. Just like that one there. See these? Okay. Screwdriver. These little screws, sometimes they look like ants. They're so tiny. Right. So we're going to aim for that centre. We're just going to stick him in and not bury him in all the way, because we want to create another burr there again. Rightio, so he's in and not seeding too hard, and you can see he's just come out. Grab another ant. Oh, fiddly. He's in. Rightio, he's just in. See how he puts another burr of plastic in there? So we'll get that burr out. Get him out. He's out. Just check him again. Right. Rightio, you see you got your bleed screw hole? And which side's that one? I like them to stick outwards. So I do left and right, so stick outwards. I'll just go a bit further in on him. It's done. Okay, so he's done. Then we just need to back them all out again, ready for when we go fill it up. Right, so I'm going to run the drill back in there again. So to go up and down to get there, because you sort of got a hole, that's sort of how it pokes through on that dish that's inside there. Right, that's done. we got. You keep working on it a bit. Right. So the bleed screws have been made. Now we've got to get the. Let's go down and have a look. I'm going to try that. 30 and 35. Alright, so I need another one of these. And just get the shock oil out. Now, how you determine if your shockers are alright? This is one way to check, especially in the micro world. See that wobble on the shaft? That's reasonable. If you get too much of this, when your suspension pushes up, it does that first and then goes and then straightens. So what that means is the shock is not doing any work. It's tilting and going at an angle and not catching the swing arm early enough to keep the car ready for the action. So top up with your shock oil, go up and down a few times, mix the old stuff with the new, and then get it out. Right. Fill it up, not all the way. Give the piston a move up and down a couple of times to try and get the air out. And if you want to encourage air, just give it a flick. It helps draw the air bubbles up to the top. And also, it's always a good thing to move this shaft up and down, because if there's something wrong with the seal there and it's not sealing properly, she'll suck air and go up in there, and then you'll get air bubbles up inside there. The reason why it sucks the air is because the weight of the piston hole becomes heavier, so therefore if the seals are not right or something's not right in the bottom here, it'll draw the air up through the shaft. Rightio. I need something just to hold them for the moment, because I need to blow them out. That one out, might do the rest. If you don't have an air compressor, there's another way of doing it. Gotta get the air back out of it again. Right, so you need to fill this right to the top, as much as you can go. And the same thing with this. You got to fill it right up, right to the top, and then place him over. And screw him down, and you can see the oil coming out your bleed hole. You need to shaft all the way down for this. Right, tighten him up. Right, yeah, because you got the O-ring in there, tighten him right down, check to make sure it hasn't mushroomed out. Now, what I tend to do is put your napkin paper over the hole and then push on the shaft. Very important to do that, because what can happen is the piston will expel the oil out the hole too quick, and you won't have bled your shocker correctly. Screwdriver. Oh. Got no idea where the screwdriver's gone. There. Right, so I gotta hold that in there. And then with the shaft all the way up, see that? See that? Look at that. The shaft even sucks up. That is how you bleed your shockers. Roughly bury it in a little bit, and then that's sealed. Okay, and that's done. Now, before we put it in, I'm going to loosen the bottom of this cap a couple of turns. And he's done. Put a napkin down, bleeder into it. There's one bubble there. Give it a flick. Helps encourage and then go again. Usually the thicker the oil, the longer you got to wait. There's probably a couple in that one. A couple of bubbles left. Right, so that's the front one. He goes out that way. So, hang on, let's check. No, so he on that side. So I want screw hole on that side, so that's the right one. Fill him up to the top. Now, it's most important to when you're doing this is to max it out. Fill it right to the top. Because that way, if there's any air in there, you're encouraging for less of it to be in there. Because of the surface of what you've put in there. You filled that space up. Oh yeah, that cap's down tight. And now let's push him up. Because you've got your finger over there, you will feel the resistance. And we're done. Right, so next ant, he goes in. And check him off, shaft goes up, we're all good. Wipe the excess oil off. And loosen this bottom cap. Right. And you can't hear any air in there squelch. Undo the bottom a little bit. Maybe I didn't push that enough because of that bottom retainer. See if we get any more oil come out. No, that's enough. Also, what's happening too is the surface area of that screw is pushing the oil back down, and that's how much that you see the surface area of that cap going down is amplified way more times than that little screw. So I'm happy with that. Time to get the springs back on. There we have it. Losi shocker with aerial bleed screws. Okay. Now, it's time to get the shockers back on. So I usually point the bleed holes outwards. So I've got to look for that bigger surface area to click on. That was tight. Let's see what. Must be a different size for that as well. Radio shocky oil's off. got a practice session ready. Oh, I forgot to turn my car on.
Race best lap of micro losi T 8.464 seconds. Race best lap of micro losi T 8.067 seconds. Race best lap of micro losi T 6.829 seconds.
A bit slippery on the rear tonight. Never know, I might have a little bit of oil on the tyres from my fingers maybe. I just have to give her a run around to see.
19.635. Race best lap of micro losi T 6.665 seconds. Race best lap of micro losi T 6.415 seconds. 7.182.
Okay, so I've done a few laps with the 30 weight in the rear of the shockers, and I didn't like it that much, so I tried some 35, and we'll give that a run to see how it runs around the track. And we've got some 40 to try as well. So this run will be with 35 weight shocker oil in the rear and 35 weight shocker oil in the front with bleed holes. I might just give him a bit of a wipe. Just double check to make sure he's down tight. Rightio. Throw her on. Car on and she's ready to go.
Race best lap of micro losi T 5.711 seconds. 7.626. Race best lap of dot best own time. Micro losi T 5.590 seconds. 5.830. 5.723.
Trying to climb the fence. As you can see, the times are coming down and the car's getting a lot more consistent to drive, and it's getting more enjoyable to use.
20.052. 6.609. 5.830. 5.854. Race best lap of dot best own time. Micro losi T 5.578 seconds. 5.983.
get some nice drifts around there too. That's quite nice,
8.152.
enjoyable to use.
5.825. 7.436. 5.786. 5.830. 5.764. 6.374. Race best lap of dot best own time. Micro Losi T 5.539 seconds. 5.998. 7.148. 5.804. 5.617. 5.985. 5.717. 6.047. 5.964. 5.780. 5.707. Micro Losi T 20 seconds to go. 5.892. 5.835. 6.072. Practice finish. Drivers must be ready to start.
Well, that was enjoyable run that time. I could chuck it into the corners and get some wicked slides as well. So let's have a look up here. So what did we do? 5.539. That's a good time to get around this track. I can chuck it into the corner, get a bit of a drift, and really enjoy that, and that was pretty good fun. Alrighty, so I'm just going to leave the shocker oil as it is for now because I enjoy the car. Thinking over it, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. We'll save it for another episode. If I upgrade the shocker oil, I'll let you know. For the next episode, the car's ready to tune the little niggly bits because we've got the shockers working. It's most important that the shockers work correctly so you get the consistent lap times. As you saw, the consistency went up way a lot for me, and you could see when I went around the corner I could get into some drifts and slides and come in quite deep, and also just still getting used to the car a little bit. But how you tell if your shockers are sticking is if you leave the car, go to bed, get up the next morning, finish your work and your work hours, and come along and just push on the suspension. Alright, now if the seals are too tight, you'll feel a tight spot just as you go to push it. So that's another way of checking that the seals are sticking, because you're not churning the oil, you're churning the seals that are grabbing. Now, I don't consider it a fault that they're sticking, because I can loosen them off and churn them, and if then the seals get a bit worn, I can tighten them a bit more. So I like that, so I can keep adjusting them and stop them from leaking and also stop them from sticking. Now I've got the bleed screws in at the top of the shock caps. When I want to change my oil and re-bleed it, I don't have to worry about the seal popping out between the shaft when I'm trying to push the fluid. I've done it before and it's a nightmare. So if you want to try and put some bleed screws in, you can. You just got to get some drills and follow the video, and that'll teach you how to do it and set your shockers up.